Sometimes, it's not what adults say out loud, but what a child whispers to a teddy bear, that reveals the truth hidden behind wealth, silence, and smiling faces. Stay with me till the end to discover what one whisper did to change a father's destiny, and a broken family's entire life. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, share with someone who needs hope today. Subscribe our channel Kindness Talks for more real-life inspired emotional stories. It was 6:45 a.m. when Thomas pulled up in his beat-up pickup truck outside a massive gated mansion in an upscale neighborhood he never thought he'd work in. His 7-year-old son, Liam, sat quietly in the front seat, clutching a worn-out action figure, eyes sleepy but trusting. Life hadn't been kind to Thomas since his wife died 3 years ago. Every day since, he'd been juggling small repair jobs, fighting to keep the lights on, and trying to be both mother and father to Liam. This fence repair was supposed to be just another job, except it wasn't. From the moment he stepped out and walked toward the imposing white mansion, he sensed something off. The fence wasn't severely damaged. It was more symbolic, like someone wanted to put a boundary not just between spaces, but people. Before Thomas could knock, a sharp voice rang through the security intercom. "You're here early. Come to the backyard. The gate will open now." The voice was female, clipped, and cold. Thomas nodded slightly, even though no one could see, and took Liam's hand. "You stay in the truck, buddy. I won't take long." But Liam frowned. "Can I come with you, Dad? I'll be quiet." And Thomas, with a sigh, agreed. In the backyard, the woman stood tall and poised. She looked too young to own a mansion like this but wore power like perfume. She was dressed in a fitted navy blue suit with no smile, no makeup, and no softness in her expression. A boy, maybe 6 or 7, peeked from behind her leg. He held a teddy bear in one hand and rubbed his eyes with the other. "I'm Evelyn Hart," she said, not offering a hand. "That's my son, Noah. The last guy you sent botched the job. If you can't fix it, don't waste my time." Thomas nodded, professional but calm. "Understood, ma'am. I'll check the posts and give you an estimate." As he got to work, Liam wandered near Noah, both kids eyeing each other with the quiet curiosity children often have. Evelyn, distracted by work emails on her phone, didn't notice when the boys slowly began playing with pebbles near the garden path. Hours passed. Thomas worked under the summer sun, hands blistering. Evelyn barely acknowledged his effort, until he asked for water, not for himself, but for the kids. That made her pause. "I'll get it," she muttered, disappearing inside. That was the first crack in her marble mask. By lunchtime, Noah had opened up slightly to Liam. They talked about cartoons and favorite snacks. But what caught Thomas off guard was when he turned a corner, unnoticed, and overheard something that made his stomach tighten. Noah, cradling his teddy, whispered to it softly. "If I tell the bear where mommy goes at night, maybe someone will finally come and stop her from crying alone." Thomas froze. What did that mean? Noah had looked so well-dressed, so well-fed, so safe. But that whisper, it carried weight, sorrow, confusion. Children don't lie to teddy bears. They confess. Evelyn returned, calling for her son sharply. Her eyes locked with Thomas's for a split second, defensive, panicked. She knew he'd heard something. Later that evening, after Thomas finished the repairs, he found an envelope with extra money slipped under his truck's wiper. No note. No thanks. Just silence. But he couldn't sleep that night. Nor could he forget that whisper. Because Thomas knew pain, and he recognized it in that little boy's voice. End of Chapter 1. Clapperboard Chapter 1 Cliffhanger/engagement hook. That night, Thomas sat by Liam's bed, staring out the window, torn between walking away and digging deeper into a whisper that wasn't his to hear, but might be exactly what he needed to change not just one boy's life, but his own. Thomas returned the next day under the pretense of adjusting the hinges, though everything was already fixed. Evelyn looked surprised, but didn't question it. She seemed even more distracted, tense. Noah, on the other hand, lit up when he saw Liam again. The boys ran to the backyard as Thomas worked slower than necessary. He watched. Listened. Waited. Evelyn stood on the balcony above, phone in hand, pacing. Her voice was hushed but urgent. "No, I told you, I can't have another late night." Noah's starting to notice. "No, I haven't told him yet. I don't want him to know what his father really did." Thomas looked away. He didn't want to pry. But he couldn't unhear that either. Later, Liam and Noah built a Lego fortress near the tree. As they played, Noah whispered again, thinking no one heard. "The teddy bear said maybe your dad can save us. But Mommy said daddies always leave." Thomas clenched his jaw. Noah didn't know his dad had abandoned them after being caught in a corporate scandal. Evelyn had been left with lawsuits, bankruptcy, and a broken heart. She had rebuilt her empire in silence, refusing help, refusing to show weakness. Her pain had calcified into pride. She had money now. But she'd lost tenderness. And Noah had no one to tell that to, except a teddy bear. That night, Thomas made a bold decision. He knocked on Evelyn's front door, not as a handyman, but as a father. "I don't mean to intrude," he said gently. "But Noah's hurting. And pretending everything's fine doesn't protect him. It isolates him." Evelyn stared at him, walls up. But her eyes shimmered. "You think I don't know that?" "I think you do," Thomas replied, "but you've forgotten that healing doesn't mean hiding the cracks. It means letting someone help fill them." She didn't answer. But she didn't close the door either. Days turned into weeks. Liam and Noah became inseparable. Evelyn slowly began opening up, first with small talk, then confessions. She learned about Thomas's late wife, his grief, his stubbornness, his soft heart. And he learned how she had been left behind with debts, media attacks, and a child she didn't know how to comfort. They weren't perfect. But they were honest. One evening, Noah sat with his teddy, smiling. "You can stop worrying now," he whispered. "I think he's staying." And Thomas heard it. Sometimes the most powerful truths are whispered into silence. But if you listen, really listen, you might just hear the beginning of healing, hope, and second chances. All from the voice of a child, and the courage of a single dad who refused to walk away.